Hi, my name is Kamari Thornton, and I am a sophomore here at Alabama A&M in a sports management major, and I'm a part of Group 7. Today I'll be discussing Chapter 1, which talks about what it takes to be and implement management. Now, when we talk about what it takes to be a manager, there are a lot of different components that go into it, and there's a lot of different areas and different things that we could say that what it takes to actually be good. The thing that I think that would be easiest to explain what it means to be a good manager or what it takes to have good management is using the POLC, which a lot of managers use as kind of like the outline and the baseline on kind of what it means to properly run a company and be a efficient manager. So let's talk about the POLC. The POLC stands for planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So I want to dive a little deeper into kind of break that down of what that means. So first we're going to talk about planning, and planning is basically planning. You want to set out your goals, your long term, your short term, kind of like the blueprint and the ideas for the year, for your company or organization that you're a part of. The next thing that you're going to do is organize. That means whether you're allocating certain people, certain jobs, hiring certain people to do certain things, you need to organize your company in a way that you want it to be ran that may be aligned with your company's core values and beliefs. And then we're going to talk about leading. Leading does not mean that someone is going to control the entire situation or what they say goes. It comes with allowing others to make decisions and give their implements on how they feel about certain situations or certain things that are going on within your company. So kind of with being the leader, your job is to kind of like create those outer boundaries and give your employees or coworkers the space to be able to implement their ideas, to make some changes, to adjust your company. So leading doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you're like leading everyone, but you're kind of like, it's kind of like when we talk about, I use the analogy of a ship. You're the head of the ship and everyone else is kind of helping you row and like you're steering, but they still need that force behind you to keep the company going. And then the last thing I want to talk about is controlling. Now, controlling does not mean controlling the situation, but controlling the outcome of your company. By knowing what's going on in your company, keeping track, keeping record, keeping logs, actually talking with your employees, maybe surveys, just ways where you can get company feedback or just seeing changes within your company, maybe from 1 year to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next, and the type of growth that your company can have. So I always say that controlling just equals outcome. If you know what's on within your company, if you know what things that you guys are lacking, things that you guys need to improve on, if you can kind of hone in on those things, then it would be much easier for you to figure out, how your company is progressing and how you can change that for the years to come or things that you can implement to make it better. Um, so I think in general, to be a good manager, you really just have to take a whole bunch of different pieces and aspects. It's just really about your company's values and morals and what's important to you. Like for some people, diversity and inclusion is what's important to them. So they might make it, their mission that they want to make sure that they have a diverse, staff when it comes to maybe sex, when it comes to race, when it comes to nationality. Just kind of like bringing in that type of dynamic. So I definitely think it just really depends on what type of organization that you want it to be ran and how you want it to look, which is solely up to the owner or to whichever the company is. Okay, so now I want to talk about how we can use this in a real world scenario. I love sports, so I'm going to use an analogy of an athletic director. So let's say that you're an athletic director, and if you don't know what an athletic director is, they basically oversee the entire athletic program that's associated with the school, university, industry. NBA, whatever. Basically, they are in charge of the entire facility and what's going on there. Includes maybe hiring coaches, getting equipment, budgeting, fundraising, getting people to participate, and they're actually working directly with the athletes that are within the industry or in that institution. So with being an athletic director, there's a lot of responsibility. So it's easy for them to use something like the POLC when planning and trying to make sure that everything is scheduled properly, when ordering equipment, making sure that that's all organized, making sure that they are planning maybe when they're going to hire a coach, when the interview process is going to be, which coach are they going to hire, kind of which direction that they want to go in, how they want the year to go, how they want the year to maybe differ from the year before. So that can kind of all go into planning and what type of decisions that they make while talking about planning, and kind of just how things that they can implement and maybe some things that they could take away. Next, organizing, just making sure that all of those things are actually planned out, maybe with dates, times, actually getting hardcore work behind it or getting movements towards it to make sure that those certain things are fulfilled on time. Next, talk about controlling. So, maybe talking to your employees and, oh, sorry, back it up. Talk about leading, and basically just talk about how you can kind of lead your employees and lead your team and also just lead the entire building into making a better place. By leading, it doesn't necessarily mean taking over everything, but maybe, sitting down and talking with your team members and finding ways that they, hearing the ideas, finding things that they can change, improve on, take away that will help your company overall, which kind of helps you to get everyone's perspective, but you also make some thinking on your own and kind of step away and make some decisions that may, help or, well, hopefully you always want to help your team. So, and being a good manager. And then lastly, talk about controlling. So just looking at the years prior or different years and making sure that those years align with what's going on in the year that they're in now or whatever they're working on, or just making sure that they're progressing from the prior years before. It's just, just seeing, I always say that controlling equals outcome. So not necessarily controlling the entire situation, but controlling the outcome of your company and how well or not well your company will do is based on how you plan, organize, and lead your team. So that is about chapter one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Russell, a freshman here at Alabama A&M University, where I am a current major in business administration. I'm a member of Group 7, and today my topic is to discuss what are the steps for creating a effective plan and decision making, and how do my group members and I use this effectively. First, I want to start off by saying, what is decision making? Decision making is the process of choosing a solution or strategy from available alternatives. Also, there's um, another decision making that you can use is rational decision making. Um, um, During this process, um, you're defining and describing problems, evaluating and choosing optimal solutions. The first step in making decisions is figuring and defining the problem that you're facing. What is the issue that you're dealing with? What is the problem that we are facing? Individuals can use decision criteria, which you can use this as a guide to judgments and decisions. Once you decide and identify your decision criteria, the next step you should take would be to decide which is more or less important. You can use absolute comparisons, basically meaning each decision is compared or ranked on its own merits. Once you identify and realize your decision making, you need to identify the possible actions or solutions that you're going to make to solve the issue. What can you do to solve your issue? One example would be to talk to your manager about a customer that enters your business and the customer doesn't agree with the price of a product they are trying to purchase. All three of you can come to a solution and figure out the problem and come up with a reasonable solution as to why your price is that way. First, you would need to speak with your manager to just to be on the safe side. You don't want to make a decision without talking to someone that is over you. Um with this step, it is best to come up with the best alternatives and as many as possible to keep down conflict. Once you map down all of the alternatives, it is best to evaluate each alternative and collect as much amount of information. And during this step, it can be much longer and much expensive than other steps in the decision making process. When using this step, you're basically weighing out your choices, choosing from the good or bad, or what would be more beneficial to use in the scenario. Once you gather all of your information, the final step in the decision making process is to compute the optimal decision by determining the optimal value of each alternative. When making rational decisions, these people maximize decisions by choosing the most optimal solution, but most managers use the satisfying approach. The satisfying approach means basically you're just judging by good enough and not evaluating all of your options and just using the one that benefits for a little bit amount of time. When you have a group to make decisions, you are better at coming with different approaches, getting basically meaning you're getting many different options and solutions and coming together picking the best one for a solution. Um, what is a pitfall of planning and decision making? Um, One pitfall there is groupthink. When using group thinking, there is a lot of pressure and a barrier to good decision making. When is um when is a group thinking When is group thinking most likely to occur? Um, Group thinking is most likely to occur when the group has no established procedures and defining and figuring out the alternatives. Basically, this is meaning that they cannot come up with a successful plan together as a group. Another problem that can be a pitfall is considerable time. Considerable time can be a huge downfall in decision making. This is when not each member must, meaning that not each member must make time for each other. The more you reschedule, you could tend to run into conflicts with group members. Say, for instance, your group comes up with a day that y'all want to have this meeting, and you turn around and you can't make it, and you want to reschedule with the others. Well, you might run into a problem. Somebody else might have something to do. So it's best to have a vote on what days you want to meet on. Um, yeah, a major pitfall in decision making is where groups when not everyone in the group shares their opinions. For example, if you're a manager and you have a team meeting and you let five members in the meeting that share their opinions and thoughts and you have two that didn't, you are making those two feel like they don't matter and have a say so. You're making them feel like their opinion doesn't matter. And lastly, a pitfall you can face is equality. Basically, equality, this ties into what I just said. You want to treat everyone the same. Um, a solution to problems, the nominal group technique was created. This is when quiet time in which group member independently write down as many problems and alternative solutions as possible. Um, when making an effective plan, use a SMART strategy, meaning making specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely decisions. When planning, choose a goal and strategy to achieve it. Lastly, how did my group members and I use the planning and decision making? In the beginning, we started off by having ways to communicate with each other. How are we going to communicate and get back and forth with each other to stay on the same page? Um, we started off by discussing what our plan was and our goals were. Um, each of us don't want a bad grade, so we came up with solutions to how we would start off. Each person wrote down what we were going to do to achieve our presentation. We broke down each step into what we were going to do and explain our parts involved in the process. What are my thoughts of decision making and planning? Having effective plans in decision making helps keep things in order and everyone's voice is heard, and you have many solutions to a problem. Thank you.
Hi everyone, it's Kamari Thornton again, and today I'll be discussing Chapter 7, which is about innovation and change. And I'll also be talking about how do we incorporate innovation and creativity and how it might be helpful in a real world scenario. So first I'm going to talk about innovation. Innovation usually deals with technology and basically from a technological standpoint of how we incorporate technology into today's world and kind of how we can use it within our organizations and businesses. So there's something called a technology cycle, which basically means when we bring out basically old or outdated ways and technology, and we bring in new technology once old technology has died out. And hopefully that when we bring in that new technology, it's supposed to be better technology. So just over time, as the years goes on and the world changes, we get better technology, better products, and we want to implement in that into our businesses to make our business as successful as possible. Next, I want to talk about innovation streams, which basically organizations use that so they can compete with other, companies and stuff like that. And it's called distinctive competence. And it basically means that it helps you to perform better than your competitors. And so basically when using technology, a lot of times to help innovation, to use innovation streams, people use technology and they bring in technological innovation, and that basically helps them to do better or do what another company is doing even faster and quicker, and give the competition basically a disadvantage because now they have certain technologies or spending money on things that are better, to either make their product better, make their website look better, have things work more efficiently, make it easier when their customers come in. So basically, people love to use technology and innovation streams basically go hand in hand with each other and making things better. Another thing that I want to talk about is basically how people manage innovation, because it can be hard to basically use technology and also just so many different changes at one time. And it can basically be overwhelming for people. And people that maybe can't adapt to the different technologies, or they're easier with the more traditional way. And it could definitely hurt companies with innovation, but also if they start to fall behind the other companies as well, that's also a problem. So there has to be a balance with the people in your company to basically also manage the new stuff and things coming in, but also making sure that the people there feel comfortable doing it, but also doing it at a rate that keeps your company afloat as well and doesn't run your business into the ground by making too many crazy changes. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was basically, creative work environments. And that's basically just creating a space for the people who work for you to feel free to share their ideas. If they feel that there is an issue, they feel, a sense of a feeling where they can come talk to you or talk to their head boss or talk to the manager to get things figured out or handled. And a way that we implemented creativity into this assignment is because, due to everybody's different schedules and, of course, us being online, it's really easy with technology now. We're able to communicate on our phones. How else, if we were, well, it is virtual, so of course we have technology, but just being able to communicate with each other, because of our different schedules, being able to actually sit down and record on our own time or time that allots for us, because it was hard for us to kind of all get on a call together. So by doing that, where we can all have an opportunity to record, but get it all in by the deadline, that's kind of how we use technology to kind of implement that into our presentation. Deciding that doing one long presentation would be best because, like I said, because of schedule conflicts, it was hard to get us all on the phone at once or all be talking at one time. So this helps so that you can do it on your own time, but it also gets done. And then also sending it back in enough time and having the ability to have email and Dropbox and stuff like that, and these big technologies to be able to send stuff back and forth with each other, so that we can still review the videos and make sure that everyone can have their input of things that they like, didn't like, want to change about the presentation, the team assignment. So that's really how we use creativity and try to make the assignment, a bit more fun. And just give everybody an opportunity to implement or talk how they want to, and make sure that their video comes out the way that they like. So that's how we use innovation and that's how we use creativity. So now I'm going to talk about how we use this in a real world scenario, which happened to me when I was going to take my car, and I was taking it to Lexus, and I'm originally from Chicago. And so typically I'll go get my car done and the Lexus that's in Chicago, and they'll do everything for me, and they're very up to date. And because of just kind of the demographics of where, Chicago is and the faster pace, and we just get new technologies and things change much quicker in the Midwest or up north than they do in the South. And so, for example, when I went to go get my car changed, I had got a nail in my tire down here in Huntsville. And they told me that they were going to have to keep my car for a few days because I was on a free plan warranty for my tires. So the lady was like, oh, yeah, in order to change your tire, we're going to have to call in a tire and bring it in. and get the tire here and all that, and it's going to take a night, it's going to be overnight, we're going to have to keep your car for 2 to 3 days, it's going to be the weekend. But I'm so used to being in Chicago where when it comes to having a tire or something like that, and because the way that their company is set up there, even though it's the same company, the way that their building is set up over there, they already have the tires in stock because it's a much bigger facility. It holds more cars, and it's just they get much more shipments, and they're able to keep them in stock. Whereas Huntsville, they have to order them in for you to be able to get them. So I was just sitting there, and I had to give them my car for a whole bunch of days, where if I was at home, I would have been able to maybe sit for 2 to 3 hours while they change my tire. I'll go get it from the back, switch it, and I could take my car home the same day. And so that is kind of like when it comes about innovation, like they're quick. They have iPads. They scan everything in. Like as soon as I get in Chicago, they do everything from the iPad, send it in. I get updates and text messages and pictures as they're going with my car. And I found that when I came to Huntsville, they didn't do any of that. And then the second visit that I made at Huntsville, they were just now innovating and putting in iPads, which the one in Chicago had been doing it since 2016. But here is Huntsville not doing it until 2023. So that is kind of like innovation within a company. Like they decided, for that location that they're going to start bringing in iPads and stuff to make it a new and better system. And actually, when talking to the lady who worked there, she was telling me how it was very frustrating with the new change of the new technology coming, because none of them know how to really work the technology, and they just went to a training course and it's still really confusing. So it makes the business go slow, and it backs up a lot of time because they don't know how to necessarily operate those certain technological pieces. So I definitely think that that is a scenario where we use innovation and change, and kind of like, although it's newer technology and they have to adapt to it, after they do adapt to it and keep going to the trainings, and over time as they use it more, they'll find that it's more efficient and maybe won't have to keep things so long, or can give their customers updates on their car, because at the time I didn't get any updates on my car because they were just now implementing and the system was down. So a lot of things that other states may have or move faster on or get done, it's different. So it kind of shows like the competition there. Like, okay, they're much quicker. They get it done. I'm here. I have to sit and wait because they don't have the technology there yet, or they're just now getting it. So that is chapter 7, and that talks about innovation and change, and also how we use that in our group assignment.
Hi, my name is DuBois McGee. Today I will be talking about organizational strategy and the pros and cons of working with my team group segment. Organizational strategy guides an organization actions and decisions towards achieving its long-term goals in a complex and uncertain environment. We decided to attack this project by breaking it up into parts so we can all have a strong focus on that topic, and it'll allow us to get work done at a faster pace. Since we've been broken up into smaller groups, Kaylee Russell has become our manager and is making sure we are doing what needs to be done. We decided to take some of the parts in the organizational strategy, and our organizational strategy includes the mission. The mission for us is to work as a team and provide information about our topic. Second, setting objectives. The objective for us is to take our topics and make it into one project at the end. Third, strategy formulation. Our strategy is to work individually on topics and to increase work being done faster. Fourth, monitoring and evaluation. Kaylee has been monitoring our work and will be piecing it together at the end when we are done. The pros of working into smaller groups to complete an objective is clarity and focus. Breaking a larger task into smaller parts provides clarity about what needs to be done and helps team members focus on specific objectives. Second, efficiency. Dividing tasks always allows the group to work at a time with different members tackling aspects. Third, accountability. Accountability, assigning specific parts of a task to different members creates accountability within the group. Each member becomes responsible for completing their assigned portion efficiently and on time. Coordination and collaboration. Breaking tasks into parts requires coordination and collaboration among team members to ensure that all components come together seamlessly. And some of the weaknesses that can come from this is duplication of effort. Without clear coordination and oversight, team members can oversee and duplicate each other's work or overlook what the other person is being done between different parts of the task. This negative part can waste time and resources, leading to insufficient and delays in the project's completion. Another one is going to be difficulty in monitoring progress. Breaking tasks into many parts can make it challenging for project managers or leaders to monitor progress effectively. With numerous components to track and manage, it becomes harder to identify what is wrong and how to address the problem to ensure that the project stays on schedule. One of the biggest parts we ran into was communication. To start this project off, we were all slow to work as a team, which delayed us getting work done faster. And sharing information and effective communication allows group members to share information, ideas, and feedback. This sharing of information ensures that everyone is aware of group goals, objectives, and progress. It helps clarifying expectations, roles, and responsibilities, which is crucial for smooth collaboration. Another thing was the problem solving. Communication is essential for problem solving within a group. It allows members to identify issues, brainstorm solutions, and make decisions collectively. Open communication encourages the exchange of diverse and insights, leading to more innovative and effective solutions. Building relationships. Communications develops a positive relationship among group members. When individuals communicate openly and respectfully, it promotes trust and mutual respect within the group. Strong relationships enhance teamwork, morals, and overall group cohesion. Feedback and improvement. Communication enables group members to provide and receive feedback of their performance and contribution to the group. Constructive feedback helps individuals identify areas for improvement, learn from their experience, grow professionally, and also allows the groups as a whole to reflect on its processes and outcomes, leading to continuous improvement over time. That being said, that is my part of the Group 7 project.
Hello, today we'll be discussing Chapter 9, Designing Adaptive Organizations. We delve deep into key concepts, strategies, and organizational processes that underpin adaptive concepts. The chapter emphasizes the need for flexibility in adapting to changing market conditions, technology breakthroughs, and consumer preferences. It calls for transitioning away from inflexible and towards more agile and responsible frameworks that quickly adapt to new possibilities and dangers. The Agile project management technique is a crucial idea discussed in this chapter. This technique enables firms to break complicated projects into smaller, more manageable jobs, allowing for more frequent and efficient consumer value delivery. Another essential element covered is the lean startup technique, which focuses on ideas and validation through testing, user feedback, and interactive product development. Organizations that embrace lean startup concepts may reduce waste and manage risk and expedite time to market for innovative goods and services. In addition to techniques, this chapter investigates the organizational processes and adaptable companies uses. Decentralized decision-making, cross-functional cooperations, and empowered teams are all critical components of the adaptive organizational structure. This method promotes innovation, increase employee involvement, and allow for more effective reactions and new possibilities and risks. However, integrating adaptive technique inside traditional structures can take time and effort despite the apparent advantages of adaptive organizations. Resistance to change, established cultural norms, and segregated department hierarchies frequently impede organizational agility. Nonetheless, this chapter offers ways to address these problems, such as leadership support and staff culture and cultural reform programs. Chapter 9, it thoroughly examines the methodology, ideas, and organizational processes that define adaptive organizations. Agile methodology and lean startup concepts methodology. Lean startup concepts and flexible organizations process may help firms navigate uncertainty, capitalize on new opportunities, and prosper in an increasing competitive market. In our group presentation, we combined several approaches and organizational processes inspired by adaptive organizations. First, we use agile project management practices, namely from the Scrum framework, to drive our project development process. We organized our project into interactive sprints, each focusing on a certain deliverable or milestone. This strategy allowed us to quickly process, examine our work regularly, and provide consistent feedback. Furthermore, we use the Lean Startup methodology to guide our approach to concepts and ideations and product developments. We highlighted the value of experimentation, user input, and interactive improvement throughout the project's lifespan. By rapidly developing and testing our ideas with potential like customers we found or just people we just talked to, we improved our thoughts to better match the demands of the intended audience as our teacher. In terms of organizational procedures, we value decentralized decision-making and team empowerment. Each group member is autonomous and responsible for a specific task or part of this project. This method enabled us to utilize our team members' different abilities.
Hey, what's up? My name is Justin Edwards, and I'm a part of Group 7. And for this team project, my role is to talk about Chapter 10, which is titled Managing Teams. So before I talk about Chapter 10 and how it relates to this project, I'm going to be discussing and summarizing how our group pursued a common purpose, achieved our performance goals, and also improved on collective collaboration throughout this entire project. So for our common purpose, I believe that our common purpose was to come together and to make sure that we were all on one accord and we were all on the same page for this project. I think we really achieved our performance goals pretty well. I believe that as we came together and figured out what, each person was doing and what each one of our roles were for this assignment, we were able to perform our individual roles at a very high level and to make sure that we, complete all of the instructions that were given for this assignment. And lastly, improvements on collective collaboration throughout the entire project. I think once we first started, things was, starting to come together. And now since we're, almost to the deadline of this project, we have, come together and we know what we're, each one of us are doing. We know the roles that each one of us have. So with that being said, going into Chapter 10, talking about managing teams and how it relates to our project. So as I looked through Chapter 10, I stumbled across the stages of team development. And our first stage is called forming. So basically, Group 7 was formed by Mr. Malone, making sure that we had all the names in the group and making sure everybody was able to participate or had the opportunity to participate in this team project. So basically coming together in form of a group chat from our phones. So basically making sure that we're all communicating and making sure we have all the instructions down packed. So, skipping ahead to the next stage that I want to talk about is norming. So basically, we came together and we figured out, which chapters that each one of us want to talk about. For me, for example, I have Chapter 10. Somebody else has Chapter 1. Somebody else, may have Chapter 5. And all these, these last two stages leads up to the performing stage, which is basically performing the task, or in this case, our team assignment, and executing it to the way is that we're trying to go. It's basically performing it at a as well as we can. So, any takeaways from this assignment? I believe that the benefits of working together as a team is working with different people, getting different ideas from other people. And we're not doing, even in our careers, we're not going to be doing everything individually. So just getting that experience to work with a team, and to kind of just come together just for the common goal of getting a great grade on this. And also the challenges was basically doing it with people that you don't know, but we kind of figured it out, once we got started. So, yep, that's the end of this video.
Overall, my team and I learned a lot about what it basically means to be a manager, as well as coming together and just working together as a group and a team. Due to us all having different schedules, different things going on, different obligations, us doing the videos separately and coming all together in the end, and collaborating well with each other, texting, just trying to figure out how to make it easier or best for everyone, has really helped us, and was a way that we were able to bring everything together and get our project done in a timely manner. And just to summarize, we talked about chapter 1, which is called Be Managers, chapter 5, which talks about planning and decision making, chapter 6, which talks about organizational strategy, chapter 7, which talks about innovation and change, chapter 9, which talks about designing adaptive organizations, and chapter 10, which talks about managing teams. So overall, I really like this team assignment, and we thank you all for watching.